What is going on, North Star Nation, and welcome to the North Star Network presented by CNS Athletics. My name's Giovanni Heater, and thank you for joining me. Today I sit down with new CNS boys basketball head coach, Coach Kyle Martin. Coach, how you doing?
I'm good. I have to say happy belated birthday. Your birthday was yesterday, I believe, and we haven't met in real life. We're meeting on Zoom, and I'm excited to meet you in real life because I've heard you're the next Bob Costas. So I'm excited to meet you, Giovanni.
Thank you so much for the birthday wishes, and everything you said really means a lot. I appreciate the support. It definitely makes our job a lot easier when coaches are very involved as well. So I appreciate it big time.
No problem.
All right, so, Coach, I figure we can really start by, why don't you tell the CNS fans, the families, really what you're all about. Tell people who you are and walk me really through your journey from beginning your basketball days as a kid, playing in high school, playing in college, as well as your coaching career.
Yeah, I'm a local guy. I actually grew up off South Bay Road in Cicero my first 6 years of my life. And then we moved down to Tully, New York, which is about 20 minutes south. It was kind of developing in the early 90s. And I went there through high school, lived there until college, of course. Basketball-wise, I was all league and played in the All-Star game, Section Zebra Classic, it used to be called, and basketball and lacrosse. I went on to play basketball briefly at Hudson Valley Community College. At the time, it wasn't well organized like the JUCO level is now. We were in different gyms every night. A lot of the kids from the Albany area, coming from Tully, it didn't really mix. Some were involved with some weird activities and things like that. So I had an opportunity to go play Division I lacrosse at Albany. So I took that opportunity while I was at Hudson Valley playing basketball, and ended up finishing at University of Albany playing Division I lacrosse. I always liked basketball more, so I got an itch to get back into basketball after college, and I started coaching locally at Hamilton College and Morrisville State. And then I coached my own college program for the past 5 years downstate at SUNY Purchase, just outside of New York City. So I was a college coach for 9 years, and now we're excited to be back here in this new adventure. So.
Now, it's funny you mentioned all that Albany lacrosse adventure for you. That's something that really stood out to me when I was doing my prep work for this, because I play lacrosse, and Albany lacrosse, one of the top-tier programs in Division I men's lacrosse. So that's really cool. And, Coach, it's very clear that you're a winner, right? 30 more wins than you've had losses in your career, your 5-year tenure at Purchase, an Elite 8 appearance in the D3 NCAA tournament at Morrisville State, several Skyline Conference playoff appearances. The list goes on and on and on. 8 wins over regionally ranked opponents. So what goes into all that? What goes into winning and being consistently good, not occasionally great, as Syracuse head coach Dino Babers likes to say?
Yeah, I guess early on I got really lucky in coaching with Hamilton and Morrisville, I told you, and just being around great coaches and learning what it takes to win and being around great athletes, student athletes. And then, obviously at Albany we won a lot. In high school we won a lot. So I guess I don't know any other way, and it's partly not because of me. It's some luck in my surroundings and different things. But it always comes back to the culture. I know that's a buzzword, but it comes back to the culture of guys and what type of guys they are, to be honest with you, what they're willing to do to win. And every program that I've been associated with, I think I've had one losing season in my life, and that was a rebuilding year at Morrisville where we had all freshmen and sophomores. That group went on to go to the NCAA tournament twice. But it's always hard work. It's always good camaraderie, and it's just a positive experience for everybody. So it comes back to those pillars. Those are more important than X's and O's, I firmly believe, is how hard the guys are going to work and what culture and atmosphere there is.
Now, you have had some serious talent over at Purchase. You've had 7 all-conference selections, 1 conference player of the year, a defensive player of the year in the conference. So what goes into grooming superstars for success like that? Is there a difference in coaching guys at that high level?
Yeah, we've had guys that transfer in that are really good, and then we've had guys that were under-recruited and came up through the ranks and got really good. So we've seen it from both angles. They're always the hardest workers. They're always the most coachable, and they just have a confidence and a way about them that the other guys don't have. And I'm not criticizing the guys that are all conference. There's some great players that don't get it, but the guys that get those accolades, they have real confidence because they put in the hard work to deserve that confidence. And you always know who they are. They're always in the gym. I would get text messages from facility managers saying, we got to kick this guy out of the gym. It's midnight. And hard work is number one. You can't fake it. So especially at the college level.
Now, a player that really stands out is obviously Maxwell Pierce. And if people haven't heard of him, his resume is actually mind-blowing. You're talking about ESPN dunk contests with the Final Four. That's college basketball. There's players in there that were playing in that Final Four, a guy from Texas Tech, and here he is at SUNY Purchase competing in that group. And his resume, as I said, he's been on SportsCenter. He's worked with the Globetrotters and traveled around the country. He's been on 2K TV working with the video games and being their dunk man when they put all the costume suits on them and they follow them with the cameras, and that's how they make the video games. He's done all this. And can you talk about your relationship with him?
Yeah, Max, I mean, you nailed it. You can go on and on and on. I think he was even nominated for an ESPY award this year, which is just a crazy level of success for, a Division III guy that was under-recruited. He was my first recruit at Purchase, my very first recruit. He came on campus with his little brother, who's now a senior downstate, getting recruited by colleges for football and basketball. And he's just – the reason he has success, he works really, really hard, as I just mentioned, but he's probably the most humble, nicest, genuine human being I've ever been around in athletics. But his thing, he was a good player for us. His big thing is dunking, and he works on his craft every day. And he works on his brand, through the Instagram, and he's on Twitter. I think he has 200,000 followers on Instagram, and we embrace that. We don't shy away from that. It's a new generation, and we want guys to promote themselves and get something out of this. And he was just a great ambassador for our program, and we hope to have the same type of ambassadors for the CNS program going forward. Guys that are really humble, great guys that work hard and do big things when they leave CNS. So.
Coach, that's the perfect segue. We love when that happens. So all of this success at the college level, what brings you to CNS now? What went into making that decision for you?
Yeah, the biggest thing coming back here, we came back upstate during COVID when the pandemic really started, and the hotspot of COVID to start in all the United States really was about 6 miles from our home down there. We were living in Greenwich, Connecticut, near White Plains, which is right near New Rochelle, which was like the first hotspot, state of emergency. So we're from here, my wife and I and our son. We came back and stayed up here, and quite frankly, we didn't want to leave. We didn't want to go back down. The family's here, the grandparents are here. We love Central New York. We didn't want to go back downstate. And I wasn't really interested in being an assistant at the college level, which I had some opportunities. It was more, I want to lead my own program still. And if I'm going to lead a program, it has to be something special at the high school level. And once I found out about CNS, it checked that box for sure. So that's how we got back here.
Now, Coach, tell me about the big three, and I'm going to use that term going forward every time I talk about your squad this upcoming year, and I'm excited to use it. The other three members on your coaching staff, Coach Wojcik, who's been there for years, Brandon Hanks, and, of course, Demetrius Nichols. Tell me about these guys and how you got them on your staff.
Yeah, Coach Wojcik's been here. He's, I've talked to him a bunch, and I was like, I didn't know a lot about him, but I asked him for like some of his accolades and stuff just to let me know what he's done. And I was blown away by the amount of success he's had. And then talking to a lot of the current players on the varsity team, they just loved their time with Coach Wojcik. And they say he's got a ton of energy. And I've never coached with him, but if the kids love him that much and he wins like he does and develops kids and has really strong relationships, I thought it would be great to have him be a part of this. Demetrius obviously is pretty well known in the area. He lives in the area too, Cicero area. So that we talked a few times, really clicked. It wasn't just like sign up and go. We really wanted to make sure it would be a good fit. And we really saw things kind of in the same lens as far as, the way we want to develop people and our basketball approach. And he's just such a positive, great guy to be around. Even if he didn't play at Syracuse and in the NBA, just the way he carries himself and goes about his business is going to be so helpful for the kids. And then obviously Brandon Hanks, who's local fame from playing kids one-on-one, and he's a Syracuse police officer. He played at Morrisville State when I was the coaching there. He played football for Coach Klein of CNS at Henniger back in the day, basketball locally. So he knows the area. I trust him with my son, that type of deal. So he's somebody that, a foxhole guy, as we call it. So really excited about the dynamic of that. And then we have some younger grade coaches I've talked to, and we're all going to get together next week that are great guys as well. Coach Banks and Coach Navarra. And I think it should be a pretty good mix of coaches.
Now, a question I have for you that seems to be the case in lacrosse and a lot of other sports. How important is it not to be just successful at the varsity level, but to really build a program and start the kids from a very young age and feed them all the way through the program?
Yeah, it's huge. I've been reaching out to the coaches. I want to know who the 6th and 7th and 8th graders are. They haven't even grown yet, but I want to know who they are and identify them early. I think that's how you sustain success. You really got to plan for the future because you're not recruiting like at the college level every 2 years or 4 years a roster. You're basically recruiting kids within your own school district to want to play basketball. So part of this, we did some media stuff and we're on social media now. We want this to be big, as I've said before. We want it to be really, really cool to play for CNS basketball. We want 4th, 5th, 6th graders to say, I want to be a CNS basketball player. I want to be like Luke Paragon or Brian Bonin or Gerard Hills. That's what we're striving for, and we're going to get there for sure. So,
Coach, you mentioned the social media. So now are you the one running that, the CNS basketball, Instagram and Twitter? It really seems to have immersed itself as of late, and it's been really cool to see.
Yeah, we've gotten real positive response too from outsiders that and college coaches have seen our guys that they never knew existed. So a couple of our guys are getting recruited now by different colleges. And at the high school level, there's not a lot of social media. I've noticed a few schools locally do quite a bit, but it's not a wide scale thing. So at the college level, everybody does it. So maybe that's something I brought from the college level where you have to do it at college to recruit. I'm doing it at the high school level to promote these kids so they can go on, promote the program to the younger guys, and get guys in the stands for these guys to play in front of, because it makes it more fun.
Now, what should we expect watching CNS basketball this year as far as a play style goes? Now, I don't want you to give away all your tricks to me, but any trademarks like a patented zone or an up-tempo offense, like what does your coaching style have to offer?
Honestly, if you go on YouTube, you can find purchase games, a lot of them, versus Cornell all the way down to lower level Division III teams. So opposing coaches can see what we do. And honestly, I don't really care. We've always had a system where it's more about player development and how hard we play than X's and O's. And you can't scout for how hard other teams play. So we're going to be a team that plays extremely hard. Great coaches get guys to play hard, period. It's not about how many sets you run and things like that. They're going to play hard. You can't play hard if you're not in shape. So that's a big factor. The amount of running we're going to be doing might be a little cruel, but we'll see. So we've typically played up tempo. I've recruited my roster, purchased what I want it to look like. So with CNS, every year is going to be different. So you almost have to form a system around that type of group. I obviously like to play up tempo if it allows, but say 1 year we have 2 big posts and a slower team, we will adjust and adapt. So, but you can definitely expect to see intense man-to-man defense, some zone mixed in, and we're definitely going to get the ball up the floor and play with a lot of freedom and have a lot of fun on the offensive end.
Offensive basketball, fast-paced tempos, definitely some of the most exciting to watch. Now, Coach, the wins just weren't there for the North Stars last season, and it seems as though the finger could be pointing in a million different directions. At the end of the day, this is a fairly young basketball team, and they just haven't caught the taste for winning basketball games in their mouth just yet. So how do you come in, and how do you implement your own culture into this program?
Yeah, it's, they didn't have a great record last year, but they were in a lot of games. There's a lot to like about this team. Previous coach Haas did a great job developing these guys over the years. So I think they're primed to have a really good year. We have big goals. I think our goal, honestly, if we're doing this thing, is to win a state championship. And people might think that's crazy because we were 2-18 last year, but let them think that. I don't really care. We're focused on really right now what we're doing. The guys are all running right now on an online app so we can track it to get in shape for our style of play. When practice comes, this group is going to learn how to take care of the ball, get great shots, and do everything we can to prevent our opponent from doing that. So that's what we can control. I don't care if it's young guys, old guys, whatever it is. We're going to do that every day, and the results will be what they are. But there's definitely enough talent in the room, and there's enough athletes, and there's definitely enough IQ, because I've seen their transcripts. They're all smart kids to get this done. And I've seen the way some of these guys work, and I've heard about it from other people. They are going to deserve their success. So not too worried about the record in the past. More looking forward at this point.
Now, Coach, how has being such a young coach really helped you connect with your team?
I mean, I would get ID'd sometimes on college campuses, but I'm actually 36, so I don't think I'm that young. I'm pretty sore on a daily basis, so I feel like I'm 50. No, I know I had some coaches when I was younger that were really hard-nosed, Bobby Knight types. And I don't know if that really relates to kids nowadays. Kids are a little different, but you still got to hold them to a high level of accountability, So I think I can connect with both generations and find the best of both. Maybe I know some of the music better that's popular nowadays and things like that, for what that's worth. But yeah, I don't know. I've never really thought of age in coaching, other than the fact that they did ask for my campus ID card on certain campuses. So. And nobody ever thinks I was the head coach in college. Or always thought I was the manager or something.
That's funny you say that, Coach. Now, without being biased here, there's obviously some very talented individuals on this basketball team. One that really stands out to me, 6'4" guard Luke Paragon, going into his junior year this season. But besides just him, who are going to be your go-to guys this year? Who are you going to look to lead this basketball squad? Is it the senior leaders?
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that can play. I've watched all the film. I watched JV film. I watched the old film of guys that left the team for a year that are back now. The cool thing is, with a new coach, it's almost a clean slate. So somebody maybe that didn't fit in a different system might fit in the new system better. So it's early to tell. Obviously, Luke Paragon's a fantastic player. He's playing a lot this summer in AAU and stuff like that. Brian Bonin, I know, is an extremely hard worker and getting a lot of reps up. Kevin Falesko, Grant Sennett, they were all the leading scorers last year. They're really committed to becoming better basketball players. You have the football guys. All they know is how to win. You got Gerard Hills, you got Deuce Flanori. Sorry if I said that wrong. And then you got Joey Penizzotto, who I've talked to a bunch. He might be one of my favorite. He told me, Coach, I want to win my 4th championship this year. And I go, what, football and basketball? And he said, no, football. And I go, you've won 3 already? And he was on varsity in 9th. He might have got pulled up, but he has the opportunity to leave high school with 4 sectional championships in football. So, he runs around, hit kids, and wins games. I think that's great prep for basketball, and hopefully those guys can bring that winning culture over as well. So there's a lot to like with this group, and I guess we'll wait to see who emerges as the leading scorers and rebounders and all that. But everybody will have a huge part in our success, and that's the important thing.
Coach, I'd love to pick your brain a little bit about before, we don't have to dive into specific detail, but just on this whole COVID-19 pandemic. And your thoughts on if there will be a season, how this will play out, if it'll get pushed, and how ready you'll be.
Yeah, I think the good news yesterday is they're really working on having a fall season. They came out and they pushed basketball back 2 weeks, which I like because they've talked about having it January 1st in the past. Things there's more questions than answers right now. Do things change if a vaccine gets rolled out? Do things change if fall sports are successful as far as no infection rates don't go up? But you're seeing sports work, you're seeing AAU work, basketball, you're seeing football work on TV in other states. And eventually, you start to worry about kids' mental health, maybe more than the disease. And I know I was talking to my wife the other day, if I didn't have sports in high school, I would have went crazy. I don't know what I would have done. Maybe I would have gone and done graffiti or something. I don't know what else I would have done, to be honest. And that's not a good position to put some kids that might not have the resources or the infrastructure in their life to succeed without sports. So it's a big deal right now.
Now, Coach, just a handful of questions left for you here. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but you mentioned that your ultimate goal here is to go and win a state championship. But year one of your culture, year one of your play style, year one with these guys, your first time on this CNS staff, what's the goal this first year?
I mean, our goal is to win a state championship. Goals are good. But it's really, honestly, we're more focused on every day. So we are in a pandemic right now. We can't do summer leagues and fall leagues. We're literally tracking how much they run right now. That's a real tangible action that helps you win more. They're getting in better shape. They're getting faster. They're getting a higher capacity to run harder and train harder. And we're tracking it, and we have maps on the Under Armour app that can see where they're running. That's what we can do right now. When we get in the gym, we'll teach them our system, which is, I don't think it's that difficult, but we'll explain it through film and show them the success of it, and they'll learn that. But, again, the guys are here in place that can be really, really good. I believe it, and they're going to believe it pretty soon. So the goal is not, again, I don't care about the past. They don't care about the past. We're coming in to work every day, and everybody we play, we're going to try to beat. So if we do that, then we don't lose, right? So that's our goal right now. And some people are probably laughing. Good. I don't care. And our guys certainly don't either. They're a confident group.
Let them laugh, Coach. Let them laugh. So if you have one message for the players, for the families, for the fans of CNS basketball out there, the people that have lived in the district forever who do come out and support the games, whether it's alumni or whatever it may be, if you had one message for them, what would it be?
Be on board with us right now. Our guys are going to work really, really hard. The big thing too is stay positive with them. We live in a world now with a lot of negativity. Support these guys. Engage with your son. Engage with our team. We're working really hard on the back end to give a really good product, and we're going to make the community really proud of our basketball program. I guess I'll go on a little tangent here, Giovanni, real quick. Our biggest thing is we want our guys to work hard. I've said that 10 times already. We want them to stay positive. We want them to develop a fearless mindset where if they make a mistake, they're not getting yelled at by the coach or their parents in the bleachers and things like that. If they can do that, they're going to succeed more than they have in the past in all aspects of their life. So more than X's and O's, what happens when you shoot and miss? Are your teammates upset? Are your parents upset? Or are you saying make the next shot? As wishy-washy as it sounds, if the positivity comes from the community and the parents, it'll trickle down. So I think that's a big thing. But understand we're going to work hard. We're going to stay positive with each other. We're going to have a great culture, and we're going to do everything we can to win games and make the community proud, to be honest. So that's what I would say to the community.
Coach, it sounds like you're the perfect man for the job. I can't wait to watch you guys. Last question here for you as we wrap things up. What does this next chapter with the North Stars mean individually to you and your family?
It's huge. And I guess I'll touch on the last point about staying positive and developing a fearless mindset. Another tangent, Giovanni. I have a lot of energy and I talk a lot, I guess.
I love it.
You'll learn that soon. But a lot of times, for our family, my family, what we're talking about, people are so concerned with what people will think of them that they almost struggle to be themselves and have real confidence. I have a lot of self-belief. I know this program is going to have a ton of success, but I'll admit I was concerned going from the college level to the high school level and what people would think. And at the end of the day, I knew what was best for my family and for us. And since I've taken the job, I've just loved it. But you gotta continually tell yourself and develop the confidence to almost not care what people think. There's a phrase out there: if you can walk on water, your haters will say it's because you can't swim, right? It was when we got a lot of local media coverage, this program, some of my friends and basketball colleagues showed love. They were excited. Some were completely indifferent. And we even got some hate. Like, how is it going to work with 3-4 great basketball minds? Or are you just doing it to be on TV? And all these ridiculous things that we surrounded ourselves with such high achievers, and people found negative in that. But at the end of the day, I guess, who am I to care? If you look at, say, the NBA, you have, who are the most hated on guys? LeBron James and KD, right? They're some of the greatest players in the history of basketball. Tim Tebow used to be criticized for being too positive. Aaron Rodgers gets criticized for being negative. You're never going to make everybody happy, but I've embraced the fact that's the truth. But if I can make myself and my family happy and develop real inner confidence to have a fearless mindset and go in this thing to win and not care what other people think, then I'll live a life that I am happy with. So at the end of the day, it's about my family, and this decision was based on them. And I can't wait to have my son around the program, and my wife's a huge supporter of Purchase, and now will be a huge supporter of CNS. So sorry to go off on a tangent, but it's just it's kind of what's going on in the world today.
No, Coach, don't be sorry at all. Never be sorry. And actually, everything you had to say really spoke to me with everything that I'm trying to do. So I appreciate your messages. And thank you so much for coming on the show today. It's really, I got to say, this is, I think, my favorite interview I've ever done. And it's because you weren't afraid to talk. You spoke your mind, and you had a lot to say, a lot of positive things to say. So thank you so much. You made it very easy.
Yeah, Giovanni, thanks for having me on. Don't forget about us when you make it to ESPN. That's all I'm going to say to you. So I'm going to save your number. Don't block me someday when you're on the big network and we're all watching you. So thanks for having me again, though. You're doing a great job.
I promise I won't. Thank you so much for all the support. It really does mean a lot.
All right, take care.
For Coach Kyle Martin, my name's Giovanni Heater, as always, and we'll see you next time on the North Star Network, presented by CNS Athletics.